Hey guys, in today's video I have the live swatch and review for the Arctic Frost collection from ORLY. I bet you guys did not see this one coming. My lovely husband got me the ORLY color pass for this year, so you guys are going to be seeing reviews on 4 collections, one of them being the Arctic Frost and then 3 other collections, and then I may or may not renew it at the end of the year. I'm not really sure just yet. So I have 6 pieces here for the collection. I did do a shop my stash style for this collection, so I'll link it up in the card so you guys can see some comparisons. Keep in mind that those comparisons were based on swatches that I was able to find on Google Images. Because I got the color pass, it does come with additional products, so I thought I would share them with you guys. Here's a dry brush, and I believe you can use these to apply, it's some clear thing, I forget the name of it. I don't have that, so I think I'm going to be using this brush for cleanup. And then it also comes with the French manicure white tip guide. I do plan on using this. I think that would be a really nice tool. And then it comes with some perfumes. This is a Skylar perfume palette. So this is clean, hypoallergenic, and cruelty-free. I'm not a perfume person. I've mentioned this before, so I'm just gonna give this guy away. I'm gonna set it to the side to give it away to someone. Okay, so let's just jump into the swatch and review, and then I'll come back and give you guys my final thoughts. I'm gonna start off with Below Zero, and Below Zero is described as a charcoal black shimmer. So for me, this one seems to have more of a blackened base, and the little shimmers are silvery, but they lean a little bit blue as well. See that? Right there. Here's one coat of Below Zero. And when I first applied this nail polish, I kept forgetting to wipe off the excess of the polish off, so it kept flooding the sides of the cuticles. It's nearly opaque at one coat, I would say, but I am gonna add a second. Let's go in with the second coat of Below Zero. And at the second coat, I do feel like it brings out a little bit more of those shimmers. And it does get completely opaque. The formula is not extremely thin, but it is a little bit thinner, which is why I'm trying to be careful with how much I'm pulling out with the brush. Again, because I got quite a bit of flooding the first time that I applied it. The next polish is Frost Smitten, and this one is labeled as a rose gold glitter. And the glitter is in a clear base. When I initially pull out the brush, this is how much glitter is coming off of it. It's quite a bit, so I do try to wipe off a little bit, especially if I'm going to be using it as a topper. But here's one coat. It's quite a bit. And when I first applied this one, there were certain areas of my nails that I just wasn't wanting to cling onto for some reason. So that is one coat. Let's get into the second coat of Frost Smitten here. I would recommend a peel-off base coat with this guy. I've wore it the last few days, and removal was a bit of torture because this is the kind of glitter that will cling onto the nail. I would be completely satisfied with 2 coats. Although I can see a little bit of my nail, it's not completely visible because it is pretty reflective. Going in for the third coat. And I don't know if I mentioned, but this is one that you can probably just sponge on so that you don't have to do that many coats of this guy. Because I have this nail painted, I went ahead and painted this one white and this one red so you can see Frost Smitten over top of it. I am going to remove quite a bit of the polish off of the brush, otherwise it's going to overload and overpower the base. So I'm going to start off over top of Below Zero, and you can see how much glitter payoff I get. And some little glitters do need a little bit more placement. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit from the neck of the bottle here and just strategically place them. It's pretty great glitter coverage, and that's with me removing a lot of the glitter off of the brush. So let's try it over top of a white. And again, The base is slightly tinted, but it's not gonna change up a lot of the base color. And these glitters are multi-sized little glitters. You see that? I love it over top of the white. That looks really pretty. That's beautiful. Okay, let's do the red. And I just pulled the red from my collection. This is Sally Hansen Miracle Gel in the color Can't Beat Royalty. I really like it over top of the white. I think that looks really beautiful. The next polish is Cold Shoulder, and this was described as a gray with blue glitter. Let me show you guys on this napkin really quick so you guys can see the base very well, because I feel like it shows up quite a bit deeper here when I'm just applying it on the napkin. It brings out the base quite a bit more than what you see in the bottle, and then you see all of those teal little glitters, and I feel like that's what lightens it up a little bit on the nails. So this is the first coat of Cold Shoulder, and you'll be able to see that the base is more of a metallic gray or silver. So you do need to be mindful, otherwise you're going to see a little bit of streakiness, and not overworking the polish, otherwise it's going to lift it. You can see that it lifted it there a little bit. Going in with the second coat of Cold Shoulder. This one has a really good formula. Head on, I feel like it looks pretty opaque, but I may require a third. It could be because the lights are on and I'm seeing a little bit too much. But I think I would be okay with 2 coats. And it brings out a little bit more of those teal glitters. Icebreaker is a silver blue glitter. And I feel like this one, the base looks a little bit more like an icy blue white. Almost like a pearly white, I would say. And this one also has the teal shimmers very similar to Cold Shoulder, only that this one has those additional silver little shimmers, or glitters better yet, I should say. This is a second coat of Icebreaker. And it brings out a little bit more of that reflex. I dinged this nail, so I had to fix it a little bit, and you can still see a little bit of the bumpiness, but that's okay. I'm gonna go in with a third coat. This is Icebreaker. And I feel like it brings a little bit more of that icy base. And it brings up also a little bit more of those teal glitters. Here's a side-by-side of Icebreaker and Cold Shoulder. I kind of like Icebreaker a little bit more because I feel like it stands out against my skin tone a little bit more. They are both very reminiscent of each other because they do have the similar little glitters running through them, but you can see the base here is more of an icy blue, and this one is more of that metallic silver. Both really, really beautiful, but very different. Great formula. The little shimmers that it has in the polish do linger on a little bit and tend to stick to the nail, so just be mindful of that. Gilded Glow is described as a gold/silver shimmer, and this is the one that surprised me the most, because in the bottle it doesn't look like it's as broken up as it shows on the nails. The shimmers in this one are very similar to the shimmers in Snow Worries, only that this one is gold. So that's one coat of Gilded Glow. Second coat of Gilded Glow. This is not one of those polishes that is going to get opaque on its own. At 3 coats, I feel like I can still see the nail line. You can definitely try to use this as a topper over top of a very light base, maybe like a white or something like that, or over top of a metallic gold. I think that would look really pretty because these particles are a little bit more broken up. I think it would show up really well. I tried it over below 0 and it was it covered up the entire base. Okay, this is the 3rd coat. And although it's not opaque, it is really pretty. I don't usually like polishes that still show my nail though very much, unless it's like a jelly polish. Then anything with a shimmer, I would prefer maybe getting it opaque completely. So this is one that I'll probably end up wearing over top of a metallic gold, or maybe even by itself and just load up on the coats. I painted a nail white and I thought I would show you guys Gilded Glow over top of it because it does cover quite a bit. Well, I picked up way too much of that. Okay. So that is Gilded Glow over top of a white, and I think it looks really pretty. It shows that little reflex quite a bit, but I feel like it looks a little bit streaky also. The last of the bunch, and the one that I was actually very excited about, this is No Worries, and this one is described on ORLY's website as a light peach / silver shimmer. In person, this looks more pink than peach. So let me try to turn off this light and see if it'll... Okay, I went ahead and turned off my other light, which is a little bit warm because it was warming it up a little bit too much. I feel like here it's coming up a little bit better, definitely more accurate. You can see a little bit more of that pink in this, and I can see a lot of the silver glitters. It allows it to look a little bit more multi-dimensional on the nail. Second coat of No Worries. And I built up on the silver shimmers quite a bit. 3rd coat of No Worries, and I'm gonna leave it at 3 coats. I don't feel like, with most polishes, I don't usually add a 3rd coat. You can still see the nail line, but I think it still looks really pretty because it's pretty reflective. The little shimmers in this polish do tend to linger after removal, so just be mindful of that. Here is No Worries over top of a white base. Because the base is slightly tinted, it will change it up a little bit, but it's not overly noticeable to where it looks terrible. And I think just being mindful of application, otherwise it's gonna look a little bit streaky, because I don't think this is technically meant to be a topper. Final thoughts on this collection. Would I not have received this as a gift, and would I not have been on a low buy last year? The only one really that I was eyeing is No Worries, just by looking at it online on ORLY's website and seeing swatches on Google Images, because I'm just drawn to this very soft pink color, and for me the little glitters just amps it up a little bit more. I think this is beautiful. The one that was the biggest surprise to me was Gilded Glow, because in the bottle it looks more like a solid metallic gold. It doesn't really look like it has a lot of dimension going on for it, but once applied to the nail, the base is a little bit on the sheer side, so the little glitter particles that it has in here, the little shimmer particles that it has in here, reflect a little bit more, and it looks a little bit more broken up on the nail. So this one was a nice surprise. Both of these, when it comes to removal, the little glitters do want to tend to stick to the skin, so it's something to keep in mind. This one especially, I feel like the little glitters, I don't know if it's because the base is a little, it's pretty light. I'm not really sure what the deal is, because it doesn't have iridescent glitters, but in certain lights it almost reflects a little bit blue and a little bit pink, which I think is a nice bonus. Frost Smitten is the one that I've opened up the most. I wore it as a manicure. I actually applied it also on my sister-in-law, and then I also used it to swatch on the nail. And this one has gotten a little bit thick on me to where now it's become just a little bit more tricky as far as using it as a topper, because now it tends to pull out a lot of the glitter and not as much of the base to help distribute it on the nail. So it tends to overload some of the nails. So I'm not a fan of that, but I am a fan of this glitter. I'm just gonna have to be a little bit more mindful when applying it. This one and Snow Smitten, I actually did a manicure for my sister-in-law. I'll have the picture up on the screen for you guys because I thought her manicure turned out really well. And the more I build up Snow Worries on her, it ended up looking white because it loaded more on the little glitter, so you couldn't see so much of the pink base. I was still okay with that because I think it still looks really beautiful. Because ORLY now has their wider brush, I kept having to, well, it's not so new anymore, but I kept having to remind myself to wipe the brush off. Otherwise, I was gonna get some flooding on the cuticles, especially with below zero, because it doesn't have the glitters like the rest of these holding it together and kind of controlling it. This one is the one that just kept flooding my cuticle, so I kept having to remind myself just to be a little bit more careful. Although the formula is not overly thin, it is on the thinner side, but it's not super thin to where it's hard to control. It's just something that I'm gonna have to keep in mind moving forward when I'm applying it. So that is everything for this video, guys. I hope that you guys found it helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.